You have all the potential to build your dream body, but your broken metabolism is holding you back. And if you're petite like me, it's 10 times harder. When I was eating 1300 calories, doing cardio 5 times a week, and eating clean, my body still wasn't responding. So I did what most of us following generic weight loss advice would do: more cardio and even less food, which left me feeling bloated, constantly stressed, and led to me gaining rebound weight. Everything changed when I realized why some people can eat whatever they want without gaining a pound, while others gain weight just by looking at food. Just a year ago, I was stuck at 1300 calories. Now I'm eating around 2200, and I'm the leanest I've ever been. Today, I'm breaking down exactly how I did it and the 6 steps that will help you do it too. But first, let's get clear on what actually is metabolism. In simple terms, it's the total amount of energy your body burns in a day. Most people think it's something you're just born with, like you're doomed with it from birth.
Oh, I just have a slow metabolism. It runs in my family.
But here's the truth. While genetics do play a role, it's way smaller than you think. Research shows that most people's metabolisms only differ by 100 to 300 calories a day. What really determines the speed of your metabolism are your daily actions, like how you eat, train, sleep, and recover. And when you're chronically under-eating, doing excessive cardio, and not giving your body proper rest, you're slowing your metabolism down. Research shows that eating too little makes your body burn less calories at rest, move less without you even realizing it, and even mess with the hormones that control hunger and energy. Think of it like your phone on low battery. The closer you get to 5%, the more it shuts down to save power. Your body does the same thing. It makes you tired no matter how much you sleep. Your period may become irregular or disappear. Your hands and feet feel cold. Your digestion slows and your workouts feel harder. You can't expect your phone to charge without plugging it in. Same thing goes for your metabolism. You cannot fix it by doing more cardio and eating less. So here's exactly how I charged mine back up. The first step I took to fixing my metabolism goes completely against what the fitness industry has been selling women for decades. Eat less, move more, and hope for the best. Instead, I did the opposite. I started eating more through something called reverse dieting. It's basically retraining your metabolism to work for you, not against you. As you slowly increase how much you're eating, your body adapts, and your maintenance, the amount you can eat while maintaining your physique, increases. This is especially important for us petites. With our maintenance being low to begin with, increasing it allows for more flexibility in our day-to-day. When I did this, not only I maintained my body composition, I even leaned out more. And a huge part of that came down to how I trained during my reverse diet, which I'll talk about later in this video. But first, here's exactly how you reverse diet. I started by figuring out where I was at. I tracked everything I ate for 1 full week and weighted myself at the start and at the end of the week, first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. My weight stayed roughly the same, so I knew I found my maintenance. From there, I started slowly increasing calories week by week. I started with a 10% increase. So when I was eating 1300 calories, I went out to 1420. Because I've been under eating for so long, my body was running on a huge energy deficit. So I needed to close that gap a little faster in the beginning. I would bump up my calories every week, and after a few weeks, I switched to smaller increases, around 5% of my maintenance. This gave my body time to adapt without overshooting. And here's a key thing I learned. Do not rely solely on the scale in this process. Some weeks I would hold on to extra water or gain muscle, which made the scale go up. So once a week, I made sure to track these 3 things: my body weight first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, measurements of my waist, shoulders, and hips, and progress photos of my front, side, and back in the same lighting. Some weeks the scale would go up, but my waist measurements dropped and I would look tighter in photos. That told me that I was actually losing fat while building muscle. I kept gradually increasing my calories until my weight stabilized. My measurements showed I wasn't gaining unnecessary fat, and I was happy with how I looked. Now, I want to set your expectations. In the beginning, you might notice the scale go up a little. That's usually from extra water and glycogen. That's completely normal and just your body adapting to more food. The key is to zoom out and look at the measurements and progress photos, because they will tell you the whole story better. This process took me several months, but it became the foundation for building a body that I love and can actually maintain without obsessing over food or cardio. And look, I know this might feel scary. Eating more when you've been restricting for so long goes against everything you've been told. And honestly, after seeing all the reverse dieting transformations online, I didn't believe that it was possible for me. Those people were special cases and my body just didn't work like that. It only clicked for me after my week 2 check-in. I just stepped off the scale, looked at my photos, and couldn't believe that I was eating more, doing less cardio, and still maintaining my weight. So if you're scared to do this, take this as your sign. Commit to just 2 weeks and see for yourself. But before you start, you need to make sure that you're increasing your calories with the right foods, because that can be the difference between speeding up your metabolism or just gaining fat. That's where balancing your macros comes in. Macros, short for macronutrients, are main building blocks of food. Carbs give you energy. Fats support your hormones and overall health. And And protein builds and repairs muscle, which is one of the fastest ways to speed up your metabolism. Not only that, but research shows that higher protein intake can actually fight back against your metabolism slowing down. This is even more important for us petites since we naturally have less lean muscle mass, setting up our calorie burn already low to begin with. And if we don't eat enough protein, we risk losing even more muscle, which makes our metabolism slower. Now, this doesn't mean I only ate protein. I aimed for a macro split of 40% carbs, 30% protein, and 30% fats. The higher protein intake supported muscle growth and speed up my metabolism, while giving me enough carbs for energy and fats to support hormone balance. This is very personalized, so your body might function better with higher fats and lower carbs. Try out different macro splits and see how they make you feel. But a good idea is to keep your protein at 30% and just play around with balancing carbs and fats. Next, I use MyFitnessPal to track my intake. In the app settings, you can input your total daily calorie goal and set up your macro percentages. You will get a goal amount for each macro in grams. And I get it, when you just start macro tracking, it feels so overwhelming. So don't stress about being perfect. Here's what matters most. Hit your calorie target first, then focus on protein, and then worry about the rest. The thing that helped me the most is doing my best to balance out macros in each meal, rather than just eating whatever and having to drink 3 scoops of protein powder in the end of the day to meet my protein goal. Macro counting is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. Now that we've covered nutrition, let's talk about the most powerful metabolic booster of them all, strength training. Now, why all the hype around strength training? That's because it helps build muscle. And here's the cool thing about muscle. It burns calories even when you're doing absolutely nothing. Literally when you're sleeping, watching TV, or sitting at your desk. The more muscle tissue you have, the more energy your body uses. Each pound of muscle burns 6 to 10 calories per day compared to fat, which burns almost nothing. So strength training is a cheat code. But here's what held me back for the longest time. The fear that lifting weights makes you bulky instead of lean and toned. I think this misconception is so common because of what happens when you just start lifting weights. I would join the gym, start a program, and after a few weeks, I would see the scale go up and feel puffier. To me, that meant that I was getting bulky. So I would quit. But here's what was actually happening. When you just start lifting, your muscles hold on to extra water and glycogen as it adapts to new stress. It's just temporary water retention, not fat gain, and it goes away after a few weeks. The moment that I finally stuck with it past the first month, the puffiness went away and I finally started seeing that toned and sculpted look that I've been chasing for years. Now, how you train matters. If you can get through your set without feeling challenged, the wait is too late. I had to start pushing myself to the point where the last 2 to 3 reps felt challenging. I couldn't do another one with good form or while feeling my target muscle. This is called training close to failure, and it's the signal your body needs to build muscle. Honestly, what took my results to the next level was learning to love the boring. For years, I would go to the gym and do whatever workouts I've seen on Instagram that day. But I didn't realize that doing random exercises each session never actually gave me a chance to build muscle. Here's the thing. To build muscle, you need to increase weights, reps, or improve your form over time. That's called progressive overload. But if one week I did squats and the next week I swapped them for lunges, there was no way to track if I've gotten stronger in squats because I wasn't doing them consistently. So once I finally committed to a program and repeated the same key movements week after week, everything changed. I started noticing myself getting stronger, and I finally understood why people get addicted to the gym. There's just something so gratifying about picking up a weight that used to feel impossible and it actually feeling light. Seeing my strength go up and muscle definition show up gave me the biggest gratification. If you're confused where to find a good program, I personally started by using an app called Evolve You. This is not sponsored, by the way, but it's a great app that really helped me as a beginner. If you don't want to spend money, you can find solid programs on YouTube or create a simple routine with basic compound movements. Maybe use ChatGPT to help you with that. The key is not a fancy workout program. What makes the biggest difference is following a program long enough to see progress. So building muscle is key to speed up your metabolism. But here's what most people get totally wrong. Muscle isn't built during your workout. It's built while you rest. When you lift weights, you're actually creating tiny tears in your muscle fibers. The second you leave the gym, your body starts repairing those muscle tears and builds them back stronger. But if you intensely work out every day, your body doesn't get the chance to repair those muscle tears. That's why rest and recovery is just as important as exercise. I was the girl who thought that rest days were for lazy people. I would be in the gym every single day, thinking the more I do, the faster I'll see results. But truthfully, my body felt like it was in constant fight or flight mode. When I looked in the mirror, I felt puffy and bloated, which was extra frustrating considering how hard I was working in the gym. Research showed shows that chronic stress from overtraining keeps your cortisol levels elevated, which can actually suppress your metabolism. Everything shifted once I started taking my rest days as serious as my workout. Right now, I take 2 full rest days a week. No gym, just getting my steps in and maybe doing some gentle stretching or yoga. But if you're in the same overtrained, underfed place, I would suggest starting with at least 3 rest days a week. Your body is more sensitive right now and it needs that extra time to recover. The other magical tool to increasing your metabolism is getting serious about your sleep. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, which is essential for muscle building and fat burning. Poor sleep messes with 2 key hormones. It increases ghrelin, which makes you hungry, and decreases leptin, which makes you feel full. Not only that, but it literally throws you into muscle loss mode. One study showed that just a single night of no sleep decreased muscle protein synthesis by 18%. I used to wake up super early to hit the gym, even if it meant I was only getting 5 to 6 hours of sleep per night. It made me groggy and most of the days led me to overeating later in the day. But now that I get at least 7 hours of sleep each night, I feel stronger in the gym, I don't get that extreme bottomless pit hunger in my stomach, and my body's not inflamed anymore. The biggest things that helped me sleep better were simple. Sleeping in a cool room, taking magnesium biglycinate before bed, and going for a short walk in the morning to see morning sunlight and set up my circadian rhythm. So I actually feel tired when it's time to go to bed. Stress management is super underrated too. Once I've actually made conscious effort to start meditating each morning, journaling, and just slowing down whenever I can, not only my mental health improved, but my body started working with me. And that brings me to one of the biggest changes I've made to reduce my stress, completely changing my relationship with cardio. Here's where I made a huge mistake for years. I was using cardio as my main workout. Running, HIIT classes, spin sessions. If it made me sweat, leave me completely drenched and looking like a tomato, it was considered a good workout. But intense cardio was actually working against everything I was trying to achieve. First, it made me ravenously hungry, like a deep hunger pit in my stomach that was impossible to ignore. Secondly, it kept me stuck in an endless cycle. Eat too much, do cardio to burn it off, get even hungrier, eat more, and do more cardio. And here's the thing, the moment that you start doing cardio to make up for overeating, you're reinforcing an unhealthy relationship with both food and exercise. If I eat a bit more, I just go back to my regular routine the next day. Your body is smart and it balances things out over time. Finally, the third reason why cardio isn't all that is just because it's not a smart investment. Think about it like this. Cardio is like a job where you only get paid when you're working. The moment that you clock out, you stop getting paid. But building muscle is like creating passive income. You get paid even when you're sleeping. Instead of having to constantly earn your calorie burn with more and more cardio, your body is burning more for you automatically. So I started by replacing intense cardio with just getting my steps in and a couple of zone 2 sessions each week. Zone 2 is that pace where you can easily hold a conversation, like an incline treadmill walk or Stairmaster on a low level. And I want to be clear, cardio itself isn't bad. The problem is when it's used as your main tool for fat loss or punishment for eating. Here's the part that nobody likes to hear. Most supplements do nothing, but a few actually work, and they can make a difference if used correctly. These are the ones that I personally use that actually supported my nutrition, training, and recovery. I take 5 grams of creatine monohydrate daily for better performance in the gym and to support muscle growth. Next supplement is protein powder. It's not a necessary supplement at all, but it's a convenient way to meet your protein goal. And if you feel like normal protein powder causes you gut issues or bloating, try an isolate or hydrolyzed whey protein. They both go through a filtration process, so it's actually easier on your stomach. And finally, my favorite supplement of them all, caffeine, either pre-workout or in the morning for energy and focus. It does also give a tiny metabolic boost. Key here is to not overdo it and drink it close to bedtime. That can both mess up with your sleep and anxiety. At the end of the day, supplement should just supplement an already solid foundation. If you nail your nutrition, training, and recovery, creatine, protein powder, and caffeine are really all you need. Alright, let's make this super clear so you know exactly what to do next. Step 1, start by figuring out how much you're eating right now, then gradually increase your calories by reverse dieting. Step 2, balance your macros. Pick a macro split that works for you while focusing on high protein. Step 3, start a strength training program and push yourself hard enough that the few last reps feel challenging. Step 4, actually rest. Take rest days as seriously as your workouts so your body can repair and build. Step 5. Stop relying on cardio as your main workout. Swap it for low intensity cardio like walking and zone 2 cardio instead, and don't overdo it. Step 6. Keep supplements simple. I want to get real with you for a second. If you're sitting there thinking like, yeah, that works for you, but my body's broken and it's not gonna work for me. I get it because I've been in the exact same situation. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the first couple of weeks will feel uncomfortable. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're doing something that you're not used to and you don't yet have have the proof that it's working. Your brain is used to thinking that restriction equals results. So it's going to take time to rewire that. But trust me, once you push through that initial discomfort, you will be so grateful that you did. Because you're not meant to live in constant restriction and endless cardio. The only reason that I'm here now, eating more food and doing less cardio, just feeling amazing while maintaining a leanest physique that I've ever had, is because I trusted the process and didn't quit when it was hard. Your metabolism isn't broken. It's just adapted to how you've been treating it. And the same way that it adapted by slowing down, it can learn to speed back up. If this helped you, you can support me by liking this video and subscribing so you don't miss the next one. And if you like petite specific advice like this, check this video out next. It breaks down why losing weight is harder as a petite, but how we can actually use it to our advantage. I'll see you in the next one.